relations between our two countries. And as we also know, Bangladesh has emerged as a shining star in the region. And we're welcoming Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's Foreign Affairs Advisor, Gowher Rizvi, attached to the Prime Minister's office. Good evening. Thank you very much for speaking to us. And I know that you have a meeting with the Prime Minister in just a short while, so I won't hold you back. General V K Singh needs no introduction, has served in 72 in the conflict that led actually to the creation of Bangladesh, so an individual who has his heart, or in his heart, Bangladesh's interests. And I want to begin this discussion on distributive growth in the region by asking the first question of General V K Singh. General V K Singh, thank you very much for joining us virtually. I know that you're in the midst of a campaign, actually, and it's been difficult for you to take time out, but thank you very much. When you heard that Gowher Rizvi was going to be on the other side, you said, I'm going to be there, come what may. So we're very delighted that you've made the time. The Prime Minister, of course, this is his first foreign visit after the lockdown, after COVID. How fundamental is the relationship, General Singh, Indo-Bangladesh bilateral ties to Prime Minister's vision? If you can hear me, sir. Yes, go ahead.
This is a very important visit. This is the centenary year, as they will say, Shab Bharsha of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. His emotional attachment, the way things happened, the way Bangladesh got liberated, all these add to this special occasion. Bangladesh, in the times of Awami League government, has maintained excellent relations. Relations based on equality, relations based on complementarity, relations based on looking at each other's own interest as well as the interest of the neighbors. Yes. And from that point of view, I think this is a very important phase in the relationship between India and Bangladesh, and the very fact that the Prime Minister has ventured out first time abroad after Indeed. COVID speaks of the importance of this historic visit.
Well, very well put, General V K Singh, laying emphasis on not just the personal chemistry, but obviously the conflation of interests. Mr. Rizvi, you've described India as Bangladesh's most important neighbor. Now, we know that this particular neighborhood has also been seeing China's overtures. So I want to ask you, and please be very honest with Indian audiences here. We're in the India Economic Conclave. It's a very important platform. Is this statement placatory, born of a realpolitik, or a genuine heartfelt sentiment? Mr. Rizvi.
Thank you very much. First, let me pay my respects to General V K Singh, who is greatly admired, a hero in Bangladesh. And for me, it is a privilege to be in the same program as him. And thank you to India Economic Conclave for having me.
You're welcome.
You know, when I said India is our most important partner and neighbor, I was not exaggerating one bit. Our relationship is a long relationship. We have shared history, culture. We are neighbors in the true sense of the word. Three sides of Bangladesh is bordered by India. And our economy and our communication and transport systems were integrated. Sadly, it was during the Pakistani phase of our history, from 1947 to 1971, much of these transport networks and trade relations were disrupted. Over the years, and especially since 2009, we have removed all irritations, all issues that existed between the two countries, and we have the deepest, closest relationship that without a word of exaggeration, we ever had in history. Of course, China is also our neighbor, a little distant perhaps, but it is also our neighbor. It is also an important economic partner in Bangladesh. Nobody can deny that. But certain things I do want to deny. One is that it is not either or, that it has to, Bangladesh, India, as I have already said, it is to our, not only for historical reasons, for our economic, social development, for our political stability, for our place in the world, India is our closest ally and will continue to be so. Indeed, we also have economic relationship with China. China is involved in building a number of infrastructure projects in Bangladesh, like many other countries are involved. In fact, in terms of, if investment is a criteria for determining close relationship, India, Japan far outweighs Chinese investment in development. Of course, there are concerns that are we becoming over-dependent on Chinese investment? I will say absolutely not. We have taken lessons from other parts of the world, including of some of our neighboring country, what happens when there is an over-dependence on over-investment from one particular country.
Indeed.
That is not the case with it. So I can assure everybody that India is and will continue, and it is in our interest, as it is in India's interest, to preserve, develop, deepen, broaden this relationship.
Well, Mr. Rizvi, let me just continue down that thread. India obviously placing a huge emphasis now in its outreach in respecting regional plurality and diverse leadership. And perhaps it was to that intent, and I would like your views on this, that India made exceptions and conferred the Gandhi Peace Award 2020 on Bangabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Would you agree, or do you see this as perhaps a cycle of diplomacy, or do you think that this exception will further send a signal?
This was a very important award. Gandhi Peace Prize in itself is a very important award. But sometimes the award is enhanced also by the recipients. So I hope this award to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman will do that. But let me say something about the award. Not only this award has come in our centenary year, what is important, and most people are unaware, this prize is normally given to leaders who are alive. This is for the first time in the history of the Gandhi Peace Prize that it has been given posthumously. And Prime Minister Modi came with this award, which he today is handing it over to the Prime Minister to show the special relationship between the two countries, and also the special place that Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib accorded to the friendship of India. You will remember when he was released from Pakistan and he was coming from London after a year in imprisonment in Pakistan, he stopped in Delhi to thank the people of India for their role and sacrifice in our liberation. Because of shortage of time, he could not stop in Calcutta. Within weeks, he made a trip to Calcutta. And every person who was there will remember even today the warmth and the emotion with he thanked the people of it. So for us, the prize is, we treasure, but I think it is also very well earned.
Well, let me bring in General V K Singh, since we're really getting now to the meat of the issues. General V K Singh, the Prime Minister, of course, choosing to undertake his first trip abroad to Bangladesh. Now, you know, diplomacy comes down to symbolism so often, doesn't it? General Saab, what does this say about the emphasis that the Prime Minister is placing on this relationship?
Rahul, if you would recall, in 2014, when the government took over, Modi ji said that our intention is ensure good, friendly relations with our neighbors. You have to live with your neighbors. More you cooperate, the better it is. More you see and seek each other's interest and then work towards harmony and complementarity in that much better. And I think we have succeeded in these last 6.5 years, especially where Bangladesh is concerned, especially where Bhutan is concerned, Sri Lanka is concerned. You look at our relationship with our neighbor and extended neighborhood in the Southeast Asia. This has been a special emphasis given by Honorable Prime Minister Modi right from 2014 onwards. And we are seeing things fructify. Just see at the unanimous decision taken by both the houses to settle the land has been very long, where Bangladesh is concerned. I think Bangladesh understands the type of love, affection, and the type of relationship that we want to maintain.
Absolutely. I want to bring in Mr. Rizvi. Mr. Rizvi, remember we are having this conversation in the backdrop of tensions between India and China, border issues. Of course, one of the rare border settlements we've had in this region is with Bangladesh, and that tells you so much more about the quality of the engagement. But let's not totally ignore the Chinese dragon. And I want to ask you, given that Bangladesh forms one of its significant pearls in its string in the Indian Ocean region, do you believe that there will come a time, perhaps not now, but in the next decade, when choices will have to be made? And what, if it comes to it, and I hope it doesn't, what will Bangladesh be looking at if it comes down to that?
Firstly, as you know, no country should ever have to choose between one or another.
Yes, well said. Yes, indeed.
Every country has multiple interests, multiple focus, and it will pursue those interests and focus in its national interest. So the reason why I have emphasized our friendship with India, because it is in our national interest that our relationship between India remains on a solid form. And if you look at the advantages, one of the reasons why the relationship has deepened so much, because in the last 10, 12 years, the people of Bangladesh have begun to appreciate the benefits, because with our duty-free access to Indian market, with the resolution of the border disputes, with the starting of the coastal shipping, with our rivers being opened up to Indian ships and goods through the inland water transport agreement. In all these things are bringing about qualitative changes in the lives of our people. And also sometimes some simple symbolic things also matter. For instance, during the COVID pandemic, although Bangladesh had handled it very well, and we had taken the precaution of putting an advance request of 30 million doses of the vaccine to the Indian Serum Foundation. But the fact that Prime Minister Modi on day one sent 2 million doses of vaccine free as a gift from the neighbor, it really touched people's heart. Today he arrives, and he arrives with 1.2 million doses of vaccine. You know, the symbolism is there, but there is also substance. And what has happened is the Prime Minister Modi has really won the heart of our people, and it has also shown that our relationship in India is not dependent on a regime. It is much more continuous and permanent than a regime. There has been a continuity, and I hope this continuity will continue from generation to generation.
Important words. General V K Singh, India is adopting a very multilateral strategy to engage Bangladesh on the trade front. Now, what are the key touchstones of this potentially transformative partnership, sir?
Rahul, there is so much between both our countries, Bangladesh and India, that if we combine together, I think we can make a mark in the world where trade is concerned. I'll give you one example. Let's take the garment industry. We are also exporting. Bangladesh is also exporting. In Bangladesh, the finished garment industry is very large. Very large number of people are employed. Their garments are doing extremely well abroad, just like ours are. Where the raw material is concerned, technology is concerned, India is providing that. It is exporting that to Bangladesh. Suppose, and I put this word suppose, we were, as two countries, we said, look here, let's look at this garment business together, in sync, in synchronization, helping each other. Would we not capture the entire world market? I have a feeling we would. Similarly, there are many things. You want to export from our northeast. If Chittagong Harbour and port is made available to you, which the Prime Minister of Bangladesh has been saying, please use it. Would it not make things better for us? Similarly, look at the old protocol trade route that existed from Haldia right across the river going up to Guwahati.
Yes.
How much money can we save if we were to use it more effectively? If we were to develop the port facilities in Bangladesh. So therefore, I think we would be really good.
I think what you've said makes a lot of sense, General V K Singh. There's a natural confluence there, and therefore I want to bring in Mr. Rizvi, who spoke about the experience that other South Asian countries have had with China, for instance, and not so much India. We've seen Pakistan and Sri Lanka falling into a dual deficit and debt trap, if not a lot more, when it came to trade ties with China. Would you say, Mr. Gowher Rizvi, that Dhaka is perhaps more at ease with doing business with India?
Hey, may I, before answering your question, add a few words to the General?
Sure, of course.
But you're absolutely right, General, what you have said. And many of the things that you have said have already opened. Our Chittagong port is now fully servicing a trade between Agartala and India. Coastal shipping is already operational. IWTA protocol is a... And you also made a very, very important point. Why don't we work together more closely on these things? Now, one of the ways in which we have already started working, if you notice that the trade balance between India and Bangladesh is almost 10-1 in India's favor. Not that that single indicator is everything, but obviously it is an important indicator. And one of the ways what we are doing, and it has begun to happen, is we are encouraging Indian investors to produce goods for Indian domestic market and consumption, taking advantage of the free trade access. So Indian investors are now investing and manufacturing goods, including garment, which they are again importing back duty-free. This is helping us to balance that trade. At the same time, strengthening both our countries in the apparel industry. Now, Rahul, let me go back to your very important question. You know, if you look at our, if you disaggregate the various figures, our external borrowing is rather conservative. We have been very, very careful how and where we borrow and what percentage of our GDP is dependent on that. And here we are in a very, very safe. I will say We have watched what has, if I may say so, and not in the spirit of criticism, just as a point of analysis, what has happened in Sri Lanka, in the port of Huttenta, or what has happened in Djibouti. We have watched that, we have understood that, and we are not going to fall into any external debt trap. The investments that are coming into are helping to fuel the growth of our trade. Our trade annually, government annually is increasing 20% a year. This would not have happened if we did not have that sort of investment, power investment that is coming from India. India is a major power investor in Bangladesh. So what we are borrowing is more than being compensated by our expansion of our economy and what we are earning. Our earning is increasing year by year.
I know you have to leave for that important meeting with the Indian Prime Minister and Sheikh Hasina, so I'm not going to take much more of your time, Mr. Rizvi. One last question to you. You've gone to a great extent to assuage India on, or perhaps your own domestic audience on India's decision to bring in the CAA and the NRC and implement the NRC. Now, how does Bangladesh view the message in the need for a law like the CAA? Because implicit in that message is that, well, minorities in Bangladesh perhaps are under a degree of threat and therefore require refuge across the border in India. How do you see it? Could it become a thorn in our relationships? Could it become that wrinkle that we don't need to see further on?
Thank you, Rahul. And I'm glad you are giving me an opportunity to discuss. I have said this on a number of occasions, and I will repeat. And we have had a number of private conversations with the Indian leaders. And we are totally reassured that this is India's internal matter. When you say that about the minorities threatened, now I can tell you one thing. What happened before 1971 was another era. Today, Indians are not migrating from Bangladesh, Hindus are not migrating from Bangladesh in droves. In fact, recent evidence indicates that some of the families who had actually migrated have returned because Bangladesh is a plural, secular society. We attach the utmost importance to their protection in the country as equal citizens. They have all the same rights. And if you look at every field of our endeavor, whether it is in the government or whether it is in the sciences and technology, business, minority communities are flourishing. To the extent we are we are not concerned either with your national register or the act, because we know that it does not apply to us. That is your internal matter.
But the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina did say, if I may, sir, that the law is unnecessary, at least in the context of Bangladesh. Would you agree with that?
Yes, because you see, there were 3 countries named in that. Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh.
Indeed, yes.
Now, you will understand, Bangladesh is a secular country. To put us in the same league as Afghanistan, either it was an oversight or it was a careless insertion. So that was what the Prime Minister was saying, that there was no need to do that. We are not, our Hindus are not leaving for India. And we are very, very proud of our plural society. We have Hindus, Christians, Buddhists, Muslims, and as you know, historically, Bengalis of East Bengal, that is Bangladesh, are mostly converts, and there's a syncretic form of religion where we share each other's customs and practices and superstitions. And if you have, and I would really invite you, Rahul, please come to Bangladesh during Durga Puja. You will for a moment think that you are in Calcutta. Our Durga Puja is extremely vibrant, not because of the Hindu community alone. This is also the biggest, one of the biggest festival for the Muslims. We all join in, we all celebrate together, and our Prime Minister keeps saying that religion is everybody's own, festivals are ours, everybody's. And that's what makes Hindu, Muslim community coming together, flourishing together. And believe me, I do not say this in exaggeration. Our plurality is our pride.
Well, that's a very reassuring message and a heartfelt one coming from Mr. Gowher Rizvi. Yes, our Prime Minister is, of course, also visiting some important temples in Bangladesh, places of worship for the Hindu community there. Thank you, Mr. Rizvi, for speaking to me. I'm going to continue this session with General V K Singh, a couple of more questions on the same theme. General V K Singh, you heard Mr. Rizvi saying that, look, when it came to Bangladesh, the CA perhaps doesn't apply. And we know that the Prime Minister's visit comes right in the middle of a very heated campaign that's going on in Bengal and even Assam, where commitments have been made on CAA and NRC. Now, given Bangladesh's remarkable economic surge and increase in per capita income, is this fear of cross-border immigration, therefore, General V K Singh, overblown in your estimate?
Rahul, more the progress in Bangladesh, more the livelihood increase in Bangladesh, more jobs in Bangladesh, means more and more number of people satisfied out there who do not want to venture out looking for jobs. I think prosperity of Bangladesh is very important for us, and we must make all attempts to ensure that that prosperity goes across all the sections of society in Bangladesh. You will see that these issues that we have had in terms of what are at times termed as illegal immigration and all that, they will go away. When a person knows he gets a good amount of money sitting in his own place in Bangladesh, why would he go out? Why would he like to put his own life in danger and his family's life in danger, trying to seek something which may not be available?
Indeed.
So, my personal view is that we must ensure that there is a greater progress in Bangladesh. More the economic revival in Bangladesh, better it is for us.
Well, that's why we spoke about collaborative and distributive growth. Now we understand why the Prime Minister is in Bangladesh today. Well, thank you very much, General V K Singh and Gowher Rizvi. We've had a